Hi, my name is Andrew. Welcome to the first ever episode of Bourbon Trails. I'm going to go on my bourbon journey with all of you, share with you my favorite bottles. We're going to do distillery visits. We're going to make cocktails together. I hope you enjoy. I hope you subscribe. I got into this because, well, for starters, I wanted and needed a creative outlet, something to occupy my time. And somebody suggested that I talk about bourbon. So here I am. I have been to over 40 distilleries in Kentucky. I have toured many of them. I've made friends down there. I thoroughly enjoy bourbon. And to be perfectly honest, when I first went down there, had no idea what I was getting into. And here we are today. So today we're going to keep it nice and simple. We're just going to do a tasting of 3 bottles. These are 3 of my favorites. We got the Knob Creek 18 year, Angel's Envy Triple Oak, and we have a Larrikin bourbon. It is their cigar lounge. It is fantastic. So for starters, we're going to start off right here with the Angel's Envy Triple Oak. Angel's Envy Triple Oak comes in at about 92 proof. It is aged 4 to 6 years, and then they finish it in 3 separate oak barrels. Okay. It's really good. It's smooth. It has a very vanilla finish to it, to me, personally. Everybody's palate is different. That's important to remember. Okay, so here we have the Angel's Envy Triple Oak. You're going to get some citrus in the nose. Definitely some spice, sweetness, the vanilla and caramel. It's got great legs. Every Angel's Envy bourbon has great legs. They all do. All right. So we're going to do 1 sip first. Yeah, you're going to get, I get a little bit of nutty finish on that first sip with possibly some apricot, like the dried apricot. All right. Now the second tasting is where you're really going to start to get some of those flavors on your palate, all the way from start to finish. Definitely. You're going to get more of the oak into your second and third tasting. You're going to get more of that nut and vanilla finish, to me anyway. And in my house, we finish our glasses. This is definitely one of my favorites out of Angel's Envy. It was the first permanent addition to their lineup in almost 10 years. And if you've never had it, once you taste it, you'll absolutely see why. All right. A little bit of water for a palate cleanser for the next one. Just to talk a little bit about the Knob Creek. Knob Creek comes out of Jim Beam. The 18 year is probably my favorite. A very close second would be the 12 year. I don't have a 12 year right now. I drank it. So, and that's one thing about, as you go on this journey with me, you're going to learn my opinion on it. I don't buy bourbon to collect it. I buy bourbon to drink it. I buy bourbon to share with my friends. This is such an awesome community. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do these videos, is the bourbon community is fantastic. And I enjoy it. So I want to share my opinions. I want people to share their opinions with me. Let's do it. You know, the Knob Creek, obviously it was aged 18 years. It's going to have more of a bite to it, in my opinion. It has a pepper finish to it. But it's not an overpowering pepper finish, okay? Here we have the Knob Creek 18. On the nose, I get baking spices. Almost like a molasses. scent to it. Again, we're going to do this in 3 sips. Sip 1, get it on the palate. You definitely get that pepper hit on the back end of it, but it's not overpowering. If you like things with a little bit of bite to it, this is right up your alley. I personally don't think this has that much of a bite because that pepper is not overpowering. Definitely get hints of molasses in the Knob 18. So on the second hit, I'm getting more of the molasses and the baking spice than any of the pepper. And I really think for an 18 year, it is very, very smooth. It's one of the smoothest older ones I've had. And as I said before, in my house, we finish our glass. Now, before we get into my last bottle here, got a little palate cleanser. Larrikin bourbon is probably my absolute favorite stop down in Kentucky. I go every time I'm down there, at least once, if not twice. Veteran owned, veteran distilled. Greg and Katie have done something amazing down at the Larrikin distillery. I actually found it by accident the first year I was down there. It was before they changed their name to Larrikin, and it was the Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company. The first ever bottle I bought on the Kentucky Trail was a bottle of Lawrenceburg bourbon, and I've been hooked ever since. If you've never tried any of their bourbons, I highly recommend all of them. I can't even pick one specific to recommend to you. Try them all, because you're never going to be disappointed. This is their cigar lounge. Their cigar lounge is aged 9 years. This one comes in at about 110 proof, and it is actually finished in 5 separate barrels. Off the top of my head, I do not remember all 5. One of them is a Brazilian hardwood called Amburona. They finish it with maple syrup barrels, jackfruit. It's very complex, and it is unbelievably delicious. It also pairs very well with a cigar, I can tell you that. If you are into bourbon and cigars and you're down in Kentucky, highly recommend stopping at Larrikin. They have the only walk-in humidor currently on the Bourbon Trail. Again, won't be disappointed. So this right here is your cigar lounge. You're definitely going to get some spice out of that Amburona. Amburona, the Brazilian hardwood. I have become a huge fan of bourbon that has been finished off in Amburona barrels. I have a whole nother bottle I'm going to talk about in a separate video from Casey Jones. We're going to do a cocktail with that one though. It's fantastic. You're going to get spices in this, maybe hints of tobacco leaf. But overall, it's going to smell very sweet. Oh yeah. Initially, the first hit on the palate is going to be sweet. But as it finishes off, you're definitely going to get hints of the baking spice. Whether you taste a cinnamon or a nutmeg or cardamom, or like however you taste it is on you, but you're going to get that spice out of that. And part of that comes from that Amburona wood. Great legs on this one too. Cheers. That one, I get more of that tobacco leaf on the back end. It's very, very good. The one thing that I will tell you about Larrikin is I've never had a bad bourbon there. It doesn't exist in Greg and Katie's world. So, and as always, we finish our glass. Definitely got hints of the baking spice on that one. So that's the three I have for you today. I hope I have enticed you enough to subscribe and watch as we go through more bottles. I have what I thought was a great collection until I got into the bourbon world. I'm sitting on about 80 bottles from different places, and I can't wait to share them all with you. I have bottles from all over Kentucky. So on that note, we're going to bring this to a close, and I hope you subscribe, follow along for more. I'm going to be taking another trip to Kentucky. It's just for a couple of days, down at the end of August, first week of September. I'm going to be doing some camping down there, and I'm going to hit a couple places. If you're a distillery and you watch this video and you want me to come and visit, please send me a message. Subscribe, and I'll see you on the trail.